1 minute.
1 minute.
And an hour.
Hey, how are you?
It depends.
Mr. Green, how are you? You know, how you doing, man?
Good to see you.
You too. Like that pen, man.
Good to be seen.
Like that pen. I know. Really?
Where'd you get it?
Good, how are you?
Temu? Can never order from
Me
it.
neither.
I'm scared to.
Same
Okay.
thing I was thinking. I wouldn't make sure I didn't have anything in my nose, and I was just like, oh boy.
For real, it's funny.
All right, 7 o'clock. We got to roll.
Whenever you're
Everybody
ready.
ready?
Mr. Mayor.
Whenever you're ready.
Rock and roll.
We're good.
Yep.
Good evening, and welcome to our City Council meeting this January the 12th of 2026. I'm going to call our meeting to order. We're going to be led in the beginning with our invocation with former council member and Pastor Charles McCorkle from Wesley Chapel Holiness Church, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance with Troop 59. If you are able, please stand with me.
All-wise God, we ask you, Lord, to be with us tonight in this place of decision. We pray, God, that we would do that which is pleasing in thy sight. We pray, Lord, for council, the mayor, city manager, those that's in authority. We pray, Lord, that what we do here tonight, as the decisions are made, will be pleasing in thy sight. Lord, we pray for our firemen, our EMTs, our police. Keep them safe. Make this year of 2026 be the greatest year of this city's life. Let us bring glory to your name. Let our neighbors look at the greatness that God is doing in the city of Mount Holly. And we'll be careful to give you the glory, honor, and praise. We'll give you thanks. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Color guard advance. Color guard, post the colors. Please join me in the pledge of allegiance.
Mayor, City Council, Madam Clerk, City of Mount Holly, thank you all for allowing us to be here. If you've been here before, I'm a new face. 2026, new year, new Scoutmaster. Mr. Matthews has moved up. Somehow he's still ahead of me in everything he does. We just want to, with this new year, we want to think about new things. One of my scouts actually told me the other day that every 7 years your taste buds change. So I should try something new. Well, I tried cauliflower, still not for me. But yeah, this year, try something new. Make a new friend. Find a new career. You know, go out and hike. Do something that you don't normally do, something new that you can find, that you find a love with. For these boys, we just want to thank y'all for this opportunity. This is great for them to get up, a little bit of stage fright, get their nerves out. But thank y'all for everything. And thank you, City Council and Mayor.
You may be seated. Thank you, Pastor McCorkle, and thank you to Troop 59 for always starting our our meetings out with the Pledge of Allegiance. We appreciate that. We're going to start, we're going to set the agenda. There are a couple things that I have that we need to change on the agenda. On number 6 on the consent agenda, we want to take that off and put that on the new business as 3A. It's a budget amendment for the 911 service. Also, we're going to remove closed session. Are there any other changes to the agenda? Hearing none, I'd like to have a motion. Mr. Meadows, second by Ms. Harris, to approve the agenda. We have so we've got 11 items on the consent agenda. Did I vote? Okay. All right, motion to approve. Okay. We have a motion to approve. That's unanimous. Going to move forward with the consent agenda. So we'll have 11 items on the consent agenda. Get a motion to approve that. Okay, Ms. Harris, second by Mr. Brooks. All in favor? Okay, moving forward. We have presentations now. Approval of the final design associated with the AccuVision mural project. Mr. Paul Lowe. Any questions for Mr. Lowe? I think that mic must be down, Ken.
About that.
There we go.
I can just repeat what I said, basically, and back up, maybe. So basically, again, it'll be completed by the end of May, and it was reviewed by the PAC, and they recommended approval, and we recommend approval as staff, and again, it'll be completed by the end of May. I can answer any questions.
So do we have any questions for Mr. Lowe? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve. Ms. Harris, second by Mr. Reeves. All in favor? Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Lowe.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next on our agenda is Springfest Event Series, Chloe Clary and Eric Smallwood.
All right, so thank you all for having us this evening. I'm just going to talk about a couple things on the first 2 slides, and then Chloe's going to kind of take the bulk of this presentation. But with the new year, believe it or not, we're already starting to plan for Springfest and all the activities associated with that. We've been kind of doing the behind-the-scenes work for months now, but moving forward, we're going to start engaging partners. We're going to start soliciting vendors. You're going to see a lot more publicity behind it. So we really wanted to get in front of you all and let you know about some improvements and some changes that are happening this year before you kind of saw it secondhand. We're really excited for Springfest events in 2026. I think there's a renewed sense of collaboration, and you'll see that as a common theme throughout this presentation. So traditionally, to kick off Springfest was the Run Mount Holly. It was the 5K and 10K, and this year we're working with the group that's hosting the run through the foundation, and we have changed those names, the name of the race, to the Riverhawk races. There's a couple of reasons that we're doing that. There was already a date change associated with it. We were conflicting with a couple of big events, similar events in the area. The past few years, the main one being Tuckfest, right across the street at right across the river at the Whitewater Center. That's their biggest 3-day festival they host each year, and they have, as part of those 3 days, over 60 races and competitions you can participate in. So that's a really big one that we tried to avoid. And we also conflicted with the Cherry Blossom 5K in Cherryville, which is part of the Run Gaston race series, which is something this race is as well. So we had folks that were trying to have to decide between those two. Also with the Riverhawk races is the brand recognition. We've got this amazing logo, we've got this amazing brand, we've got an amazing tagline with it, beautiful colors, and so we wanted to really highlight that. We're running on the Riverhawk Greenway, and we really wanted folks to know and be excited about a name and a logo. It's also a great natural resource call out. You know, every time you do something on or near the water, you want to tell people that it's on or near the water. It gets them excited. And with the previous Run Mount Holly, you really didn't know if you were on a greenway, if you were on a road, if you were on a trail, where you were at. So this, being the Riverhawk races, really lets people know that they're going to be on the greenway, but they're also going to be next to the beautiful Catawba River. Something that we immediately recognized was we can make some pretty cool merch with this. Really awesome race shirts already starting to get designed. Maybe some sustainable bags for packet pickup, hats, stickers, things of that nature. And then the thing we're really excited about with the name the Riverhawk Races is it allows us to grow. So Run Mount Holly really kind of pigeonholed you into only running races. Well, Riverhawk Races allows you to grow in a couple years. Once you're comfortable, we could throw in some activation on the water. We can maybe throw in 2 wheels and do some stuff on bikes. And it can really be a day full of outdoor activity in Mount Holly that doesn't just have to be relegated to this area. We could do something at Mountain Island Park. We could see if Aquatic Adventures would want to maybe do a swim race, kind of like they do Hell or High Water on this day. Really allows us to add any number of races or events to this particular kickoff to Springfest. This year, we are adding a race. We've got the Greenway 5K, the Tail Race 10K, which has traditionally been a part of it, and the Kids Tadpole Dash, which is, right now the plan for the route is to be just here around the municipal complex. But that image right there is from a race that I started at Stowe Conservancy, and we had the kids run a 1/4 mile trail around a pond, and the first year that we did it, we had over 50 kids sign up. So I really think that having some activation for the whole family would make this appealing race. If you want to just come for the kids race, if you want to do the 5K, you got somebody that's a real go-getter and wants to do the 10K, there's a little something for everybody right now. So I was here just to talk about the Riverhawk races. As you can tell, race directing is a passion of mine. So I'm going to step aside and let Chloe talk about some things that are passions of hers as well.
Yes, good evening. So before I pivot forward, we kind of added and finalized something a little new within just the last couple days that I don't have a slide about, but I wanted to tell you about. So kind of piecing in this theme of recreation, getting the kids involved. Years ago, we had Kids Fest. So we are working on rejuvenating that as part of this series. Because the race has been pushed up, now there's a little bit more time to work with within this event series. So we have a whole nother week to add even more things for me to get done in a short amount of time. But I'm so optimistic and excited to just continue to fill that out. So we have been doing a great job with our homeschool programming, and that is what we want to focus on for this Kids Fest Day. We're going to host a homeschool field day, something that they don't really get to experience that often. So we're looking forward to providing that to this great community that we've been fostering through Homeschool Open Gym. And we're also going to look to host some activities for the younger age group that day too. So think like 6 and under, inside, fun, craft, light, but all along within that same day. So we're still working on finalizing all of this, but super excited to jump into the rest of it with you. So as we know, Senior Dinner is one of our most cherished events of Springfest, which to me, Springfest really is just a celebration of Mount Holly. It's a celebration of who we are, where we've been, and where we're going, and it always has been. So Senior Dinner is a wonderful part of that event as it really celebrates the people that paved the way for what we're able to do now and just really allows us to give them thanks for all that they've done, really to propel us forward even farther. So this year's theme is going to be jungle. It's a wildlife, so look forward to that. It'll be on Tuesday like it traditionally is, and we are so excited that Caramount Health is sponsoring that event for us this year. And then within this new sense of collaboration, the Community Awards Dinner has really expanded itself this year. They have acquired their nonprofit status. They have a board, they have a committee, and I have been honored to serve on that and helping really bring this to life. So this year there are new awards. These awards are really going to recognize the businesses, the people, and the organizations that are making Mount Holly what it is today. You can stay tuned for all of the outlined criteria for each of those awards, all of the nomination processes. We are really funneling that down and adding an extra level of prestige to this event that has always been very prestigious and cherished. But we are very excited to share more about that, hopefully very soon. Then this is a little bit of a toss-up. So Mount Holly Nights is one of our favorite events here in Mount Holly and something that we really love and all get to come together for. So we thought, why don't we move that one that's usually right after Spring Fest right up into the mix? 'Cause why not? Just shake it all up. So you can think of this as somewhat of a hometown night before we get ready for the festival the next day. This is, again, a celebration of what we love, what we do, who we are, and it is just going to kick off the downtown event season in the perfect way with music downtown on Main Street. What would be better? So then we will transition, and we have a brand new festival experience that we have really reimagined. We have thought about what makes us unique, what we want to continue to celebrate throughout SpringFest, and ways that we can grow and make Mount Holly a standout destination with a signature event. So I introduce to you the Piedmont Arts and Cultural Experience. Within this, the creative process has really taken a while as we have really tried to be thoughtful and intentional in what we wanted this to be. This is going to be the finale to this incredible series of events that has celebrated all the things we've worked towards. So we know that there has been a call for a signature event and just a desire to have something that is uniquely Mount Holly. You have to come here to experience it. So when trying to come up with what that could be, really digging deep into what we love, what we prioritize, what are things that are important to us, and art is an instant standout. It is something that we all connect with in different ways, and you see it in our community everywhere. We have so many different arts groups. I've listed some of them there. 2 of our elementary schools are art-centric schools, so we're starting it at the base level there, really. And we also have a ton of businesses that are centered around arts. So this just felt like a great theme to pick up on as something to round out the SpringFest season with. So this event is truly going to be driven by the sense of community. So these 5 key elements that you can expect to see and experience at the Piedmont Arts and Cultural Experience are the outdoors, food, art, community, and nature. So our vision for what this is really going to be is something that you come, you experience, and you leave, and you felt like you've been a part of something that has really opened up your mind and challenged your thought process and something unique. You've never seen it before. So we will have a curated selection of handcrafted vendors that are going to offer all kinds of different things. I'm hoping we can find someone to spin pottery on site. So think stuff like that. You actually see it happening. And then we're also going to have plenty of opportunities for local groups to showcase their artistry in so many different ways. Think taekwondo, hula hoop, aerial arts. All of these different things are things that I hope that you will get to experience at this festival. We want to have large interactive art installations. So you're going to walk through, and maybe this morning it's a little drab, but then you come by this evening and it has really come to life because people have been painting on this wall all day. So that's kind of the vision within that. And to really make this come to life, we want to engage with all of our community organizations and our businesses. We would love to have help from our nonprofits hosting these different interactive elements. So to give you a concrete example of one, I want to have fun little frames is what they'll look like, and it'll be tall, like as big as me, which is not very tall. But you'll come up and someone's gonna hand you yarn and you're gonna tie it on it and make string art. So by the end of the day, it has fully been weaved. So these are different areas where we're gonna have opportunities for our nonprofits to collaborate with us and help us host these different elements. We also really want our businesses to jump on board with this and come to life with it because what they do is art as well. We have a bookstore downtown that is beautifully art in its own unique way. So we really hope that people can jump in and find different ways to carry the event footprint inside their doors. We don't want this to just be an outdoor festival. We really want to activate our entire downtown district and take it inside. Because we have incredible stuff to show off in Mount Holly, and this is a great way we can fish and feed people right into their doors. And then also, food and beverage is such an incredible scene in Mount Holly, so we really want to get them involved with hosting unique offerings on those days. Like maybe today you get a beautiful pink and purple unicorn looking drink that you cannot get tomorrow. It's exclusive. You have to come and get it today. So we're really excited to see all of that, and I hope I painted a good picture there.
You did.
Great. Great. See it with me. But I wanted to just kind of show you how we're tying all of this together visually. So you see this icon in the bottom that has been made of all of these elements that I told you that you can expect. So the outdoors, food, music, art, community. The idea is that you see yourself somewhere in here, and you want to come be a part of this because it feels like you. So we have created this beautiful brand with these great colors that, again, earlier Eric talked about cool merch for the race. It's silly, but it is important. It goes a long way. It speaks to your brand. It makes people want to be a part of it. When I see you walking around with that t-shirt on, I'm going to make a note. I'm going to go next year. So we wanted to put a lot of effort and intentionality within that. So here's just another visual of how some of this is going to come together. So we've got these icons broken out so we can have these different wayfinding signs. You'll know where you're going, all those types of things, and then just some more visuals there for you. We want this to look really polished, professional, like something you'd be willing to drive 2 hours to attend because it's going to be that good that you'll drive 2 hours to attend. So I'll just hold that up for a second. But as a final wrap up, SpringFest truly is a celebration of who we are and all the things that we love, where we're headed, all the things. So this series of events really speaks to that. And with this new festival experience rounding out the end, I think we have the perfect combination of everything that's important to us within this series. And like I said, we have an extra week now. So if we find it's not all there, we will fit it in there. So we'll start with the races, then we'll move on to our senior dinner. We'll have the awards dinner, we'll have a Mount Holly Nights, and then we'll end with the Piedmont Arts and Cultural Experience. And that was all I had. So if anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to help.
Any questions for Chloe? William?
So, you're wanting to engage with the nonprofits. Do they have to pay a fee like the other vendors?
Right now, the way it was updated last year for like regular vendor booths, it's more of a deposit style. So they will pay X amount. I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but they will get it back as long as they show up and stay all day, if that makes sense, for a regular vendor booth. Now, if they are offering to volunteer their time and give their space and energy to help us with chalk on the road or other things, then no, we will just welcome them in, arms wide open.
Mr. Reeves?
I don't have a question. I just want to say thank you for the dedication and work both of y'all put in. I know the hours you've put into this, and it looks great. I'm thrilled to see this and see it come to light and incorporate so many things that I know y'all have talked about over the last few months. Thank you. Great job.
Anyone else? Thank you, Chloe, and thank you, Eric, for all your hard work. You're always doing something new and exciting, and we really appreciate all your hard work.
Well, thank you. We appreciate your support.
Great job. Thank you. Okay, next up, we have the wastewater treatment plant decommissioning update. Mr. Robert Stewart.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. Tonight I'm going to give you a update on the decommissioning of our wastewater treatment plant, as well as a look into what the plant site is going to look like when decommissioning is over. This project has been a long time coming. The first talks on it were in 2007, and we finally received funding for it via a grant in 2024, in April of 2024. And since then, we have reached several key milestones throughout the project. In September of '24, the design engineering firm HDR Engineering was selected through the RFQ process to be the design engineer for the project. After that, the city hired Synagro, our staff, we brought Synagro in to start the dewatering process. Knowing that that was going to be a long-term, tedious process, we kind of got a head start before construction began and started the dewatering process, where we pulled water out of one of the basins that had been offline for quite some time. A lot of rainwater, but we started running it through the plant and treating it, returning it to the river. In July of '25, the pump station for Charlotte Water started up and started receiving all of Mount Holly sewer, sending 100% of sewer over to Charlotte Water underneath Catawba River through their pump station. In August of '25, the decommissioning contracting, the bid went out, and PC Construction was awarded the contract to be the decommissioning contractor. And in September, just following that September, the notice to proceed was given for them to start construction. In January is our current day photo there. That's kind of an overhead picture of what the site currently looks like. It's actually a little, that's an older picture. That was taken at the 1st of January, and we've since then started hauling in dirt. And the project is slated to end in May of '26, so it's just around the corner. So this is that aerial photo from early January. Since then, we've ran about 500 dump trucks. We brought in dirt and started filling in that the lower section there, kind of the bottom left of that picture. So that's pretty much level ground now. So 500 dump trucks have moved in, and these numbers here are kind of staggering. An estimated 95,000 cubic yards of dirt is slated to be brought into the site to get it to a level ground. That's equivalent to 4,750 quad axle dump trucks. So that's, that's a lot of traffic coming in and out through this site. Those numbers just struck me. I had to check and recheck to make sure that those were accurate. Here's a picture of the site. This is the complete ground, so you can see with the teal outlined area, that's the total property for the wastewater treatment plant is 13.8 acres. And with this also has easements for utilities. The lines at the top of the screen are the Charlotte Water permanent easements for their force mains that go underneath the river. So that's an unbuildable area. And with the easements, there's a permanent easement for the drive entrance for Charlotte Water to get back to their pump station. So the line in purple is what's left of the workable area, which is 10.3 acres. Now, this whole entire project is basically in the floodplain because it borders Catawba River and it has creeks on both sides of it. So this slide here shows the floodplains. The orange dictates a 100-year floodplain, and the purple is the 500-year floodplain, which 500-year floodplain is one of those, the engineers don't even recognize it because it's so rare that you would ever see that, but the 100-year, I think we just saw it a year ago. It was completely underwater out there. So this is an assumed fillable floodplain, which means that permits can be gotten and we could bring in fill, or whoever can bring in fill to get it this property above the floodplain if whoever saw fit. And this is our expected day in May, where The decommission is complete, and this is what we hope the property to look like. And from there, ends my slides. Does anybody have any questions?
Any questions for Mr. Stewart? Mr. Brooks?
You showed on there that Charlotte owns, or do we have any access to that, or is that strictly their land?
This here?
Yeah, I think it was the pump station. You said Charlotte Mecklenburg owns that?
Yes, Charlotte Water Pump Station is the upper, the center of the picture, the uppermost yellow squared-in box. Charlotte owns that land there.
Okay.
And then they have an access easement through the current easement of the wastewater treatment plant. So basically, the road going into the plant as we have it now is their access easement.
Okay. And that road, that access easement road, is that?
It's also in yellow.
Is that owned by us, or that's owned by someone else?
It's owned by us.
Okay.
Any other questions? Mr. Meadows?
So it's related, but not entirely tied to it, but the other side of the river has a lot of construction going on as well. Is it possible for us to find a way to get communication out to the community? A lot of calls about the noise during the day and through the early part of the evening associated with that construction. So if there's any way we can kind of let folks know in some way what's going on and that it's not our site, it's the other site that's going on, if there's some way we can get that done.
Any other questions for Mr. Stewart? Any other discussion?
Well, Mr. Mayor,
Ms. Harris?
in light of what you have presented to us tonight and the city's large need for additional recreation space for kids and sports and senior adult programming, I'm going to make a motion that the city council designate this space at the former wastewater treatment plant for the exclusive use of expanding our parks and recreation programming at Tuckasegee Park, and direct staff to evaluate funding options for the city council's consideration to fund amenities such as recreation facility and sports expansion on the site. That's my motion.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor from Ms. Harris, second by Mr. Reeves. All in favor?
I got a question.
Okay.
Something like that, can we, like, discuss it or put it on the, like, new business to talk about it in detail a little bit more? That
Well,
seems kind of heavy to.
We've got a motion on the floor. I'll go to our attorney or our city manager.
So typically, once there's a motion and a second, you can have discussion at that time before you call the question. So it would also be appropriate for someone to make a motion to table as well. And that's another appropriate motion that could be made to another date.
Okay, so how should we proceed with this motion that's on the floor? Take a vote?
Ask if there's any further discussion and then call the question.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? Mr. Craig?
I just bring it up because it seems like a lot to discuss, especially when this is a future site. It's not actually happened yet, so I think we're putting the cart before the horse.
I will say that for the last probably couple decades, we've always talked about expanding the park. Once this ever happens, you know, it took forever to get to this point. Isn't that right, Mr. Stewart? But now that we're there, well, this has been years ago, probably 15, 20 years ago, we said we're going to expand our park someday once this is gone. But that's just my thoughts on it. But any other comments or?
Yeah, I make a motion to table it until further discussion, until we know a little bit more about what's going on.
Okay, so I've got a motion to table it by Mr. Craig, second by Mr. Meadows.
I just don't think there's a point to hurry up and do something whenever we're just not doing anything.
Okay. So,
I'm all about the kids and parks too, I mean,
Right.
but.
so we had a motion earlier, so where do we go with that?
You need to call the question on the table, on the tabling of the Ms. Harrison's motion.
so I just need to go ahead and,
Call the question on the table vote.
okay. All right, can you lead me on that?
Sure. Councilman Craig's made a motion to table
To
this.
table it.
Councilman Meadows has seconded that.
Okay.
So all in favor of tabling
Okay.
the motion?
All in favor of tabling the motion that Mr. Craig and Mr. Meadows seconded, raise your right hand. Okay, I have Mr. Meadows and Mr. Craig, all against. I have Mr. Brooks, Mr. Reeves, and Ms. Harris. So now did we go back to the other motion?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now I have a motion by Ms. Harris to turn this over to the recreation only, this property. I second it by Mr. Reeves. All in favor of that motion, please raise your right hand. So we have Mr. Brooks, Mr. Reeves, and Ms. Harris, all against.
No, 4.
I'm sorry, 4. 4? Yes, that's what I said. Yeah, we got you, three people, 4. Right. All against that motion? So you're not going to vote?
They've abstained from voting.
Abstained, okay.
So it's
So
unanimous.
So it is unanimous vote because they abstained.
I said I was for it, so.
Yeah.
I just want to talk about it.
Okay.
Well,
So-
I think I need to explain the reason why I made this motion. From what he was telling us tonight and from what I've talked to Mr. Blanton and everything, I don't think anything else can really be built there. Without A&E's road, if we built condos, if we got a developer to come in and build condos there, all of that traffic would go through our park. That would be the only way in and out, because A&E has plainly said they're not going to give us access to that road.
I mean, I know all that.
Okay, well, I'm just telling you why I made the motion, so.
Have we got a
Mr.
response
Brooks?
from A&E?
Mr. Brooks?
Have we got any response from A&E?
Mr. DuPont reached out to A&E last week, and we've scheduled a time to discuss the issue of potentially turning the connector road into a permanent roadway in the upcoming weeks. Over the last 2 years, we've met several times with A&E. They did not indicate that there was an interest at that time, but based on conversations that we've had recently, we believe that there is an opportunity to renew those discussions, and we've been working towards scheduling a meeting to discuss that with the management at A&E.
Okay, anything else on this discussion with the wastewater treatment plant? Okay, we're moving on.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Next, we have public comment. We have one person signed up for public comment, Mr. Bob Hendricks.
Good evening, council, mayor, fellow residents. First of all, a lot of very, very good things when you saw the presentation earlier from Parks and Rec. That was a very cool thing to say. But the reason I'm here tonight is to speak about ethics, not legality. Because while something may be legal, it can still be wrong. And when it comes to public service, the appearance of a conflict can be just as damaging as the conflict itself. Councilman Jeff Meadows has voted on more than one occasion on property matters that directly benefit his full-time employer. These votes are documented, they are discretionary, and they matter. Even if those votes were cast with the best of intentions, the ethical standard is clear. When your personal livelihood is tied to the outcome, you recuse yourself. You don't explain it away. You don't rely on silence. You step aside because public trust demands it. What is equally concerning is that this council, as a body, allowed those votes from him to happen. I'd like to think they knew he crossed ethical boundaries. You see, ethics are not just an individual responsibility, they are a shared one. When no one speaks up, the message to the public is that convenience outweighs accountability. There are smaller things, pretty minor actually, that reveal character. It's become common knowledge that Councilman Meadows accepted city-provided meals for meetings that he didn't even attend, and even occasionally came by the next morning just to pick them up. I understand this isn't documented information. Is it a big deal? Maybe, maybe not. But I'm here to say this: integrity is not proven in the big moments alone. It is revealed in the smaller ones, especially when no one is watching. And history shows us that when people are willing to take a little, they are likely to take more when the stakes are high. For Councilman Meadows, that accountability should include reflection on whether he can serve this city with ethical clarity. We as citizens deserve it. In my view, he has not done this and has demonstrated that he cannot. The clearest and surest path to restoring confidence to this council would be for Jeff Meadows to resign his position as city councilman immediately. Funny?
I'm laughing.
Good. Whether that happens will largely depend on the rest of the council chooses to hold him accountable for every single vote he makes. Mount Holly deserves leaders who avoid conflicts, not excuse them, and who remember that every vote, every small decision belongs to the people, and you all owe it to the people. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
All right.
I'm going to take a point of personal privilege.
Okay.
So just want to thank you for your comments and your opinion, which is exactly what it is an opinion. I have followed every direction that I've been given by our staff. I have gone and asked both the city attorney and the city manager whether I were to vote on certain matters or not. I was not only told that I needed to vote, but I had an obligation to vote. If you read the law, I was forced to vote. I cannot recuse myself just based on an opinion. I've asked that question multiple times, received a written opinion. I'd like the city attorney to confirm that. Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Hendricks, you've left the floor. You can't talk anymore.
Thank you. So while I don't appreciate the personal attacks, I have acted within the bounds of my duty in elected position, and I continue to serve citizens as best I can. Thank you.
Okay. Next on our agenda is new business, downtown development timeline. Mr. Blanton.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Tonight, I want to present a tentative timeline and a brief overview of the Veterans Park expansion and downtown redevelopment project. As you all know, this project has been in the works, evaluated, studied, and planned in numerous different ways over many years now. Even over just my 2-year tenure as city manager, this project has evolved and seen numerous different renditions. Going back to 2019, when this original design for Veterans Park was created following direction from the 2008 and 2018 Strategic Vision Plan, these renderings were presented for a downtown park, amphitheater, and recreation area. The total cost at the time to construct this downtown park was approximately $14.3 million over 3 phases, which equates to roughly $17 million in today's dollars to account for inflation. The first phase was placed on the 2021 bond to pay for the park and 2 bridges with a tax increase that was voted down. Following the bond failure, unique options were evaluated to find creative funding mechanisms to expand Veterans Park. A mixed-use site was designed, which provided for 138 residential units and a 2.5-acre park. Following an unsuccessful RFP, the city tweaked our advertisement and received a proposal from a developer which would have created only a half-acre park and yielded only $1.5 million in acquisition back to the city. This rendering shows just that half-acre park and the $1.5 million that was offered by the developer. The City of Mount Holly and our council are in a fantastic position to be selective about what type of a development is allowed in our city limits, and that is exactly what our council did At the time, this proposal was rejected, and we again evaluated our options and reviewed creative plans for funding. Last year, the city was approached by Streetlights Residential, a renowned developer that builds residential products across the country from Texas to Disney World. Streetlights proposed a smaller, more conservative product on the residential piece of the property, that being around 96 townhomes and a 2.7-acre park with $5.2 million being invested in the property. The city continues to negotiate, consult, and discuss what this partnership could potentially look like. The following timeline shows tentative milestones that we are seeking to meet. First, tonight, we're presenting this timeline leading into a public information session that will be held next week. Many thanks to our friends at the Mount Holly Community Development Foundation who are assisting us in a Mount Holly Matters next Thursday evening here at the Grand Hall. Tomorrow, we will advertise for a public hearing to discuss what a potential development agreement would look like, what a purchase-sale agreement would look like, hoping to have that on February 9th. Going back to the public information meeting next week, those results will be presented to our city council at our work session on January 26th, and an update on the project will be given every 2 to 3 months. With the Streetlights residential piece, we are hoping to finalize preliminary park features this month, leading towards a potential purchase and sale agreement next month in February of 2026, finish our due diligence in August of 26, design and permitting the construction of June of 2027, and completing construction at, assuming everything goes according to the plan, by December 2028. More specific information will be provided at the Mount Holly Matters next Thursday night, talking about a more in-depth history of the project, options that the City Council has considered, options that the City Council may consider in the future, and more specifics as to what this potential deal may look like. I am happy to answer any questions that the council or the mayor may have regarding this potential timeline, and as I said, we will be revisiting this issue and presenting more thorough details to the public next Thursday evening.
Any questions for Mr. Blanton? None? Okay. All right, thank you, Mr. Blanton. All right, next up, we have discussion of zoning districts and lot sizes. Mr. Greg Beal.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, City Council. Bringing this item, this was a discussion item in front of our Planning Board, Planning Commission last Monday night. The Planning Commission has been very busy throughout the year. I think there was 14 text amendments, numerous rezonings, variance cases. So there was a pause at the end of the year. We had no business. Thought it would be appropriate time as we're getting more development requests. People are seeing new infill development to talk about that and talk about some of the things we're seeing. So largely our ordinance that exists today was adopted in 1996. Catawba Heights was annexed in '89. Gaston County zoning, the city assigned zoning. So likely the R12 single-family district, which is the most prominent, that's 12,000 square foot lot minimum, and R10 districts existed prior to that. In the late 90s, I've been here since 2001, so the late 90s, you saw development go to smaller lots, 8,000 square foot minimum, 60-foot lot widths as a minimum, and that was Autumn Woods, Dutchman's Meadow, Kendrick Farm, and Moreland Estates, which became Moreland Oaks later. 2004 to 2013, it was almost standard. It was R8. Single family or multifamily was proposed rezoning. Those were in Westland Farm. Water's Edge was an R8 multifamily development. But in 2013, we had something unusual. You had an R12 single family zoning district, largely an R10 in River Park. Due to the recession, that development really didn't get off the ground. They put a lot of infrastructure in place. 28 homes were built. And Walton Development Group purchased that in 2013, came to an idea with the city, we'd like more density, but we don't have any restrictions on this development. They could build whatever they want at the time. We'd like to propose some architectural features. So it was a quid pro quo, worked out well for the city. Instead of vinyl-sided homes, you got hardy plank homes, a variety of building materials, park amenities. They built a half-mile paved greenway that will serve well in the very near future as that bridge over Dutchman's Creek is built, linking that community down to River Street Park and our greenway system. So in 2008 and 2009, just completed the first strategic vision plan. This came after the 2003 vision process. And the city, one of the recommended goals was to consider smaller lot size around your downtown core, because you need density to support your business. Downtown was dead at that time. That was soon after the $3 million streetscape project was dedicated in 2007. Very large lots around downtown. It also allowed double-wide mobile homes. Nothing wrong with a double-wide mobile home, but if you're looking to increase your values and your density around downtown, that's something that was changed. So the RD district, residential downtown district, was created, as well as some rezonings in the South Gateway, and you've seen the investment we've seen in the South Gateway. Millions, tens of millions, even hundreds of millions of dollars in investment, with more coming, especially with the medical offices and such. So that's kind of an overview. So more on River Park. So we talked about, that was the first time we saw smaller lot sizes. They asked for more density. We went down to a 40-foot lot for them. And you know what? They saw more 60, 70-foot lots being sold, so they scrapped the 40-foot lots, even though they were approved for it. Since that time, the city has seen several subdivisions with varying lot sizes, and that included Imagery, which has a variety of lot sizes and housing types, Zeta Ridge, Moreland Oaks, Leecroft, and Sycamore Woods. And I'd say Moreland Oaks is probably the smallest lot size we've seen recently that were approved. They were 52-foot wide. So right now we have 4 single-family annexation requests. These were, townhomes are a little bit different, at least 20-foot lot width for a townhome because they're joined together. But Silos Ridge, that's located at the intersection of Sandy Ford Road and Lowland Dairy Road. They've gone down to a 46-foot wide lot. Now, we haven't seen, it's very early in the stages, but that's 6,000 square feet, and then they have a 56-foot wide product. Chestnut Hills, corner of Old 27 and Lowland Dairy, they said, hey, we want to have bigger lots, and so that's reflected in this table. Broadleaf has long been out there. We've been working with them since 2021. The good news, they finally got all the title issues associated with that property, so they should be moving forward for your consideration. Definitely not an approved project yet, but they have 50-foot, 55-foot, and 62-foot wide lots. And then Willis-I Grove is on Lowland Dairy Road as well. Again, they go down to a 46-foot wide lot. So we're seeing a deviation, obviously from a development standpoint, as construction costs rise, land costs rise, they try to get more density. But the question is, what is too dense? So the land use plan of 2020, so North Carolina general statutes mandated with 160D that every local government adopt a comprehensive land use plan by 2021. We were ahead of the game. We adopted ours in June 2020. It's a very public process. It took well over, probably close to a year and a half to go through it. But they assign place types, so I just want to focus on this particular place type. Kind of references the RD district. It calls for 4 to 10 dwelling units per acre in the core residential area, shown in orange on the map. As you go out, it's more to 4 to 6 dwelling units. So back to that 8,000 square foot standard, minus the infrastructure. It actually recommended smaller lot sizes in Catawba Heights, and council considered that it's your retreat in 2025. And you told staff you wanted to keep the R12 zoning and focus on creating more commercial corridors throughout town. This does show a zoning map. You see the blue area is the RD district on there, the blue hatch area. The red is the downtown B1 district. The yellow is the R10 district. So that just gives you an idea of the zoning around the downtown. As part of the RD district, it also allows townhomes, duplexes, triplexes, condos with restrictions, and live-work units. So more opportunities for housing. Again, more opportunities to support the businesses downtown. So, I'm not going to read all this to save y'all from it, but the purpose of the core residential was to provide a transition from smaller lot sizes to bigger lot sizes, and that's what we've seen in our future land use map. It says to promote downtown vibrancy by assuring a mixture of housing types and price points within walking distance of downtown. So a little bit something for everybody. Again, hoping that people support the downtown. The typical primary use per the land use plan is single family with smaller lots. And it supports the neighborhood scale commercial development. This shows you the areas that are undeveloped in the city, and that's where we're seeing the growth. All the annexation I mentioned, or you see my cursor along this corridor, we're seeing more along the northern area. Downtown, the RD district's largely developed. What people are doing now is buying lots of record, tearing down those homes, and like you saw on the backside over here, build 4 houses where one stood. Under the old standards, they could probably build 3 houses under the old standards. The new standards just basically have a no minimum lot size. At the planning board meeting, you know, they just wanted to talk how we're seeing things get smaller and just talk about density. I think the goal, one of the main objectives, as you read the 2008 strategic vision plan, was to create these, to get away from these garage-dominated streetscapes. Here's an example picture. It's not in Mount Holly, from Virginia actually, but where all you see is cars and garages as you look down the street. Kind of push that back to make sure people aren't parking over the sidewalk, which is common in some neighborhoods, to really make that garage not so dominant. And we have houses that it looks like the whole house is a garage because, you know, there's a front door and wrap around. This council has rejected products from developers that look like garage apartments, essentially, with one big white garage door. So out of this discussion, the planning board was really concerned that there was no lack of minimum lot size for the RD district. They made a recommendation that council consider mandating a minimum lot size through a zoning text amendment based on staff's research, and that future annexations adhere to the minimum R8 single-family standards of 60-foot lot widths, 60-foot wide lots minimum, and 8,000 square feet lot sizes. So that's was the point of discussion. Now, we have this state law called downzoning that was passed, and it was in the Disaster Recovery Act for Helene, and the General Assembly placed it in the back of the bill. We already had statutory regulations on downzoning and what cities could do and couldn't do, but basically it has frozen everything at the local government zoning level, meaning that if by decreasing the density of the development of the land to be less dense than what was allowed previously, it's prohibited. So that's something that, you know, we've talked with the School of Government. There's no case law on this. The General Assembly is likely to repeal what they approved. They called it a knee-jerk reaction by some, that they heard horror stories. I think some counties, some towns had, for instance, an R12 zoning district, and they heard of a development coming, so they were like, no, we're going to change it. We're going to make all lots 1 acre minimum, and essentially that's a moratorium on development without being an official moratorium, which under the general statutes, you have to follow certain guidelines. For instance, the moratorium has to state a purpose. It can't be more than 180 days at length. Those more I guess, regulatory steps, they just said, we're going to make everything large lots so developers can't build or can't afford to build. So that's the synopsis of zoning for the last 30 years of Mount Holly and what we've seen. I'll be happy to take any comments, questions, or just listen to open discussion.
Any questions for Mr. Beal? Mr. Reeves?
Mr. Beal, this state law does not affect annexation, is that correct?
That's correct. And annexations, we have several active now, and basically they're coming to you voluntarily. It really speaks on downzoning as changing the district to make it less developable than it used to be, and less permitted uses than it used to have in place. That's what it really speaks to, but annexations aren't a concern.
Mr. Brooks?
So even though we can't effectively tell them their lot size, do they still have to adhere to our building standards?
No, you could tell them your lot size. You can look, and they may say, hey, we meet your land use plan. Now, the land use plan doesn't look at every single piece of property. So I think it really, from this council's feedback in the past, has been, what does a product look like? Because one could put a small house on a large lot. It's not going to solve. If you say, hey, we're just going to go to large lot sizes, they may have a 30-foot wide home. They're like, we're going to stick to this 30-foot wide model. And typically, working with builders, the larger the lots, sometimes they do try to fit a larger model on it. But that's just one piece of the equation. So we could definitely get feedback from council, work with developers and say, look, you may be too dense. Because, you know, we've been working with our fire department. Fire spread's a concern with them. Chief Baker and I have had many discussions. It used to be like some of the homes could have 5-foot setbacks. And I could point to Westland Farm, for instance, as minimal. Now, sometimes they went above that. Depending on how their lots were laid out, but now we've set an 8-foot wide minimum on each side of the home. So they're at least 16 feet apart. We look at Azalea Ridge, for instance, some of those houses are pretty far apart, and that was one positive by that development. So you can certainly deny an annexation being not in the best interest of Mount Holly. We could certainly relay messages to the developer. You saw by the slide, the table that was created by staff, that some developers are hearing that. Some aren't. Some are going smaller.
Mr. Meadows?
So not annexations, but within the current jurisdiction, are we able to apply architectural standards like require brick or hardy plank?
No, sir. Session Law 2015-86, it was adopted June 19th, 2015, signed into law by then Governor McCrory. It was called the Regulatory Reform Act, and that was something that we fought as years. But it basically prohibits any local government for requiring architectural standards or design elements for one-family dwelling, single-family homes, duplexes, triplexes. So our ordinance speaks to architectural standards for 4 or more units, like townhomes, essentially. But we are not allowed and have been prohibited from for 10 years.
Mr. Meadows?
Has there been any proposed legislation that would affect the standards that we currently have on our annexations, where we basically say we want X, Y, Z, and the developer says okay? Are there any movements or any proposals that might affect that ability?
In the future, there could be. Right now, currently, conditional zoning is how we work the quid pro quo, you know? We're not asking, you know, as much as we have pushed for all brick homes from a staff level, developers just aren't listening. They just say, well, that's not our market, and they give us a litany of excuses. But for example, right now, through the conditional zoning process, that's the only way that we're ensuring quality construction. Other towns, if they have vacant land but they can't grow anymore through annexations, a developer really could come in and build anything they want. So that's where you're seeing the cheap vinyl, the stuff we got away with, or got away from 20 years ago, that vinyl that waves, that breaks apart, that, you know, does not age very well. That's the stuff that this council set forth in 2008 and said, we want higher standards. We want to create great neighborhoods, not just subdivisions. And that has been our mantra going forward. And we've had some great partnerships. But right now, we're allowed through a voluntary conditional district. Now, there is a bill that's been pushed by the Home Builders Association and the Real Estate Building Industry Coalition. It's called the Save the American Dream Act. Fortunately, it did not make it out of the committee last session. But there's a whole thing that basically takes away conditional zoning, that you can't even do that with future conditional rezonings. I still think we have a leg up because annexations, you could deny an annexation for any reason. You don't even have to entertain it. But really, conditional zoning's been a tool that many towns have used to get higher standards. So that may be in danger. We're working with those groups, and they cite bad actors as a way that there's a reason why they're doing this, but it punishes everyone. So to answer your question, there are bills that the General Assembly will see this year that continue to whittle down zoning authority in North Carolina.
So I just want to make sure I'm clearly understanding what you're saying. So where we've had the one house bought and 4 put in place, there's nothing that we can do that would change that at this point, given what the state law is that correct?
Yes, and the School of Government gave a very, basically, they don't know. There's no case law on that. So right now, we said, hey, we would like to set a minimum lot size. I think staff supports it, the planning board supports it. I don't think council as a whole maybe have a problem with it, and saying like maybe 5,000, 6,000 square feet is appropriate. But with no minimum lot size for 17 years, and now we're seeing some of these houses torn down and put on top of each other, there's potentially nothing we can do until that downzoning law is repealed. And we certainly can't dictate architectural standards.
Is it possible to get at this through building materials and maybe some of the fire codes? Because houses being closer together, if they're brick or hardy plank, you have less chance, I believe, I'm looking at the fire department in the back to make sure that's correct, of fire spreading versus a product that melts with a grill too close to it.
Well, I can tell you the Regulatory Reform Act, if it's allowed under the building code, you know, it's an approved material. So Chief Baker and I did talk about that, but the Regulatory Reform Act of 2015 says you can't even suggest, if you take it, which we did, we took it out of our ordinance because it used to be you met 5 architectural standards. We thought that was solid. But it says you can't even convey what you would like. And so you know, someone could challenge it. I don't know if anyone has challenged it. I know in the Save American Dream Act, that bill that I referenced earlier, they're reiterating things that have already been adopted because I assume that other towns are still doing those things. But that's something that we could look into from a fire safety standpoint. But the likely answer is no, from based on all the research we've done previously.
Well, I appreciate the Planning and Zoning Board and the work they've done, and, you know, these houses are just being built on top of each other, and it just comes down to square footage. You know, that's why they're going up instead of out, and they're trying to build on smaller lots. And, you know, I think our worries are, you know, people's safety when it comes to fires and that type of thing. And it's just, people are on top of each other, and we just want, I think the developers need us much more than we need them. And we've got to find a way to fix this, if any way possible.
Yeah, we have an asset, certainly, with water and sewer. The county does not have countywide water and sewer. If they did, we'd see a lot more development around us. They would not even come to the city, in my opinion, for a lot of things. They would develop in the county, but that water and sewer is certainly an asset because that gives them smaller lot sizes compared to well and septic.
Anything else for Mr. Beal? All right, thank you, sir.
We'll keep you updated on any changes that we see.
Sure. All right, thank you. All right, next up is, this came off the consent agenda, the budget amendment for the 911 service. Mr. Blanton?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I had received several questions about this today, and number one, in the interest of transparency to the public, and number two, to rag on our police department a bit. We wanted to pull this off of consent to talk a little bit more about what we're doing here. So this project has been in the works since February of 2023, when the city posted an RFQ to redesign our 911 center. Our 911 center is one of only 2 here in Gaston County, has consistently received high praises for getting 0 deficiencies, and has not been comprehensively updated since 1991. We put out a request for proposals. At that time, we selected Stuart Cooper Newell in September of 2024 to design the 911 center based on qualifications. They recommended that we advertised and post an RFQ for a construction manager at risk, which the city did. That was awarded to Edifice at that time, and our police department has worked diligently, as well as our project management team, to come with a comprehensive plan, a comprehensive proposal from Edifice to upgrade our PSAP center, that of course being our public safety answering point. So we have been planning for this for 2 years. We have been looking forward to getting this project off the ground and moving. Due to the complexity of it, due to the construction manager at risk, it has taken quite a bit of time to get this project up and going, but this will go towards providing the support needed to supplement that link between the public, police, fire, EMS when they need it most. So we are looking for a motion to approve this capital project ordinance for the 911 communication center upgrades.
Mr. Craig? Okay, Mr. Craig makes a motion, second by Mr. Reeves. All in favor? Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Blanton. Okay, next up, we have the city manager report. Mr. Blanton.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have a couple of things that I want to share with the council tonight and with the public. Number one, I want to thank everyone that came out for our Christmas and holiday events throughout December, and certainly thanks to our Parks and Recreation special event staff for putting a wildly successful season together. I want to share this promo video that we have put together highlighting some of those events that we intend to use for marketing purposes next year. So I'm going to share this minute and 3-second video with you guys. Again, we certainly want to thank the council's support of these projects for the events that were underway, and certainly to Eric and Chloe for their fantastic work on making our Christmas season a great success this last year, and we look forward to sharing this leading into next year so that we can bring even more people into Mount Holly to share the great things that are happening. We received an update last week from OMB, and Mr. DuPont and I will be meeting with them tomorrow, but as you can see, there is great progress finally being made at the OMB site. They are informing us that they are on schedule, and hopefully we will have more information tomorrow when we meet with them to get a full update. They still suspect that they will be on track to have everything concluded by the end of this year, but hopefully, hopefully earlier than that. So we will certainly keep council and the public updated as we receive any updates from our friends at Old Mecklenburg Brewery. As I mentioned earlier, next week on Thursday, January 22nd at 6 p.m., we will have a Mount Holly Matters to discuss our downtown park and redevelopment project. We will be partnering with our friends at the Mount Holly Community Development Foundation for this event. You can find more information on our social media pages, on our website about how to submit any type of questions that you would like answered during that event. So we certainly invite you guys to join us then to learn more about this these very exciting developments that have been occurring over the last few months. Also, tomorrow night, we will be having our small business networking event. That will be at 6 p.m. at the Holland, and we have received quite an impressive RSVP number for that event, so we are looking forward to providing an opportunity for our small businesses to network and learn more about the great things that the city offers and the great things that are happening in downtown Mount Holly. Also on Monday, Martin Luther King Jr. Day will be observed. City administrative offices will be closed, but our street and solid waste team, our sanitation team, will be running on a regular schedule, so there will be no delay in residential garbage pickup. Looking forward to February, the Mayor, Reese McGlowan, staff, and I finalized the retreat agenda that will be happening on Friday, February 27th in this room beginning at 9:30 a.m. We will be publishing that agenda soon and certainly invite the public to be able to attend as we have our annual retreat here in council chambers. Lastly, I did want to note that we had a hiccup, a glitch, a problem with our utility billing contractor. They inadvertently did not provide a return address in the January, or a return envelope in the January bill, and they inadvertently provided the December newsletter. Our finance team have reached out to the contractor. The issue was on their side, but as far as the January newsletter, it will be available on the city's website. Certainly, if there are any specific questions or any needs to have that sent directly to you, reach out to me and we'll make sure that you get that. Apologize for the inconvenience, and we're working to remedy that issue to ensure that it is not a problem in the future. That is all that I have formally tonight, Mr. Mayor, Council, but I'll be glad to answer any questions or concerns.
Any questions for Mr. Blanton? Thank you for all your continued hard work. I think you just celebrated your second year, right?
I did, yes, sir.
Yeah, so thank you. All right, if there's nothing else, could I get a motion? Ms. Harris?
Go Steelers.
I have a motion to adjourn by Ms. Harris, second by Mr. Brooks. All in favor? We are adjourned. Thank you all for being here.
With 2 minutes.
Phyllis, my phone goes off.
It's my house right here. So this is Hill Street, so right over here is the,
Is this north?
yeah, this is,
Sure, I'll have something to call you for before this week is out.
yeah. That's right. So, of course, this is my house. These are the four houses that they went in and built on top of each other.
Police escort, yeah.
So anyway, I've been in, it's Mr. Massey, he needed me to sign some stuff, right? Give me just 1 second. So,
Okay,
Goodbye, everybody.
Have a good night. If you need anything, just
get your food, fellas.
give us a shout.
this and this will drive and it comes to me.
Good job.
All right, I'm going home.
Front row seat. Yeah, get some rest. Get some rest. If you need anything,
Hey, how are
we'll
you?
do this again tomorrow.
Old, so,
Everything's good.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
this is yours.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, thank you.
so, anyway.
Just what I want.
And this is still on. No, it's on.
Whatever, you know. I'm not exactly sure. They've had it.
Okay.
Not afraid.
Exactly,
but,
keeping a
they
watchful
came in
eye on
and,
all the action.
and I don't even know who did it, but they came in and surveyed it. So I'm gonna try to get that information and based on, you know, I don't even know what to offer him. I mean, I guess I could have, maybe if he had it appraised. I mean, I know there's a, basically, the county, the appraisal from the county, or what the value of the land is. But I don't need to, this is gonna be a long shot for me. I just wanna buy that little strip right there. So I can have some breathing room.
What kind of church is it?
It's, Pastor Massey's, is that something Tabernacle?
So it's independent.
It's an independent church. He basically, I guess, owns the church. So,
Well, so has the exact piece you wanted been surveyed?
well,
Or is
up
it
to
the
my
big
land, the
pieces
big
been
pieces have been surveyed, yeah.
So if you wanted that, it would take surveying the piece, and it would take making an offer that the church is willing to
Right,
accept.
right.
It would take following the church's requirements. It might take